Writing intros is hard, so I'll keep this simple. I want to play more Diablo. You guys want more Diablo, so let's descend into the cathedral once again and through immense suffering, become the new Lord of Destruction. Let's see if we can answer the question. Can you beat Diablo 1 by putting every single stat point into strength? The first thing that needs to be done is picking a class, and I figure the most interesting way to try this is as a barbarian. But those were never in Diablo 1, I hear you say. Correct. Blizzard decided to save the barbarian for Diablo 2 instead, but the files were still left in the game, so I enabled them. And what a beauty he is, looks strangely like the warrior though, but despite sharing the sprite there are some differences. The barbarian starts out with 0 magic, and as you can see from the beautiful golden 0, that number is never changing. You can use plus to magic items to boost it. However, I'm not here to pick the no magic class only to make him do magic anyway. I'm sure it's very strong, but that's just not what playing a barbarian is about for me. I also had negative mana for most of the run, but I'll explain that later. He also gets 1% resistance to everything per level. In the meanwhile, on screen I have leveled up for the first time. Every single level gets me 5 stats, and all of them are going into strength, cause that to me is what playing a barbarian is all about. Who needs life, dexterity or magic? There is one more rule for this run, but we'll get to that in a bit when we have a moment for it, cause we have reached level 2 and the first of our quests. Tristram has been having a bit of a problem with the water. It's suddenly all yellow, and they've asked us to go check out what the hell's going on. It turns out that there are a couple of demons quite literally taking a piss in the water supply just to fuck with the townsfolk, which I am going to need them to stop doing immediately. Now normally this isn't a very hard quest. It's just a matter of walking up to the enemies and attacking them until their health bar hits the floor. Unfortunately, this is where we find out about the first big problem we are going to have to deal with. Hitting enemies is already becoming optional, and it's only getting worse from here. So after barely surviving a fight with one random goat, we have our work cut out for us. Now I was able to clear the rest of the area and stop the demons with the 2 free willies from messing with the water. Continuing on in level 2, we encounter a room that is filled wall to wall with blood and corpses. Surely nothing can go wrong from opening the door. I tried luring the butcher back to get him stuck, but failed miserably at it. Figuring I was all out of options, I just went and got into a fight to the death. Well, mine to be specific, but that's just semantics. Second time around I got halfway through. The problem was that he was winning significantly harder than I was, and I was dead. So I decided to just move on and come back later when I'm a bit stronger. Along my travels towards level 3 I had to go back to town, which had me talking to Pepin to buy potions. As a reward for making the demon stop whizzing in the water, he gives me the Ring of Truth, bringing us to the second rule of the run. My previous video taught me that the game is balanced around only finding half the quests, which is great for repeat playthroughs but awful for making videos cause you miss out on half the game. So I decided to add all the quests to my game, but I'm banning the quest rewards. So rule number 2 for this run is quest items are banned. Which means I can't use the Ring of Truth or any of the other amazing items that I'll be receiving for my troubles. I'll still do all the quests, cause that's just a good time, but I won't be reaping the rewards. It annoyed me greatly that I couldn't defeat the butcher, so before I went to level 3 I ended up giving it the old college try with a new axe I found.
Fresh meat.
Thanks to the extra power from clearing the entire floor, I ended up taking him down this time around. Now I did cry a little bit inside while checking the beautiful pile of damage I would get from equipping the butcher's cleaver. So with a very manly and masculine tear rolling down my cheek, I give the cleaver to everybody's favorite blacksmith. May he live long and prosper with it. And that's it for level 2. Time to head into the very welcoming level 3, cause nothing says make yourself at home like a bunch of burning steaks. Level 3 also turns into my very first introduction to the Black Death. I've managed to avoid these guys in my first few playthroughs, but lo and behold, there is no escaping them this time. These yellow zombies are very slow, as zombies are supposed to be, but what they lack in speed, they make up in pure unfiltered misery. These lovely gentlemen permanently reduce your maximum life every time they hit you. Lo and behold, I'll demonstrate the definitely only time I got hit by them. Look at my health pool. It started at 82 and is now at 81. Permanently, as you can imagine. This is quite the unnerving effect. Okay, so what do we do now? Normally there are a bunch of solutions to this. It's not like you just have to run in and hope for the best. You can take any ranged weapon you want if you have the dexterity for it, which we don't, cause we are putting all our points into strength. I know there are ranged options that don't require dexterity, but I haven't found any, so I'm just shit out of luck on that front. Spells are also an option for other people. Our mana is at 0, so we don't get to do any of that cool spell casting. With all of the fun, good, balanced game options not being available to us, we only have one option. We are going to save scum the absolute undead fuck out of this. Before engaging with a zombie, we'll be making a save. Then we try to kill the zombie without getting hit. If we succeed, we make another save. If we fail, we reload the game and go again. Thankfully, this game is 30 years old, meaning my psychological damage loads instantly. Wouldn't want this to become annoying or anything after all. Now I know what you're thinking. With the Black Deaths being so dangerous, surely the developers won't throw tons at you. Well, joke's on you, cause of course they did. I spent the next hour working my way through piles of these things one by one. The only upside here is that at least I can just stand still and swing my axe. Like true believers in the I can fix him philosophy, they just end up stumbling right in. Cause surely the man violently swinging an axe in blind unyielding rage won't hurt you, just everybody else. Slowly but surely making my way through the level, I end up finding a weird shrine which has the effect of giving my weapon +1 to its maximum damage. Free damage, no questions asked. You love to see it. What I don't love seeing is that there is another huge swarm of undead here, but just a couple reloads later, they too were taken care of. The trying times were taking their toll on me though, as I forgot to save. And in the very next room, I took a hit, lost a life, did a reload and started back. If that sounds miserable, that's because it was. Is it my own fault for playing the game in an unintended way that the developers never expected me to? Absolutely, but we don't mention that part. With level 3 fully cleared, it is time to head into King Leoric's tomb.
The warmth of life has entered my tomb.
In here you can tell that the not putting points into dexterity for extra chance to hit is catching up to me. For the regular skeletons that isn't too much of a problem so far. Good old Leo turns out to be a different story altogether. The fight starts and I figured I would hit him eventually, and once I did, I'd chain a couple hits together and take him down. That was the plan. What ended up happening was that he just didn't care about my attacks at all, and for good reason. I just wasn't hitting him. I tried repositioning myself, but it didn't matter. I literally just can't hit the king. So I end up taking my loss and retreat. Very un-barbarian like, but there was no other way. Don't worry though, like the greatest barbarian of them all, I'll be back right after I fix my chance to hit. So onwards to level 4 we go, where we are greeted by some good old life draining friends. A few reloads later we find ourselves at, sorry, I meant psychologically devastating amounts of reloads later. Man, I can't wait to be done with these zombies. I'm happy this is for sure totally the last level of them. No way I would roll into them again after all. Anyway, like I said, after another completely healthy gameplay session we find ourselves at a chest that is locked. To open it we have to talk to Snotspill, who wants his casually borrowed tavern sign back because it will grant him ultimate power. It's all fine and dandy that he believes that, and he seems super trustworthy, so instead I decide to hold on to it for now. Level 4 just has all the action. Garbat the Weak is a silly little quest which has you talking to the goat 4 times. All you need to do is walk away till he's off screen, then go back and talk to him again, rinse and repeat. While walking back and forth towards Garbat, I ended up finding the first unique of the run, the unique Claymore, which I'll show off in a second. Town portals are a valued resource, so I don't want to go back to town for something as silly as 2 quests and a potentially game-breaking unique. Gotta make sure to end the run with tons of unspent resources left after all. You never know if I might have needed them. Once you've done all 4 runarounds, he attacks you because the item he created is supposed to be too strong to give away for free. If he wants to die defending a mediocre spiked club, that's his business. After all, he's the goat here, not me. Having made my way through most of level 4 and my inventory full up, I decide to head back to Tristram to reap my reward. Our new Claymore turns out to be the Bonesaw. It adds a crap ton of damage at the cost of mana and dexterity. The mana doesn't matter, but the dexterity lowers our already poor chance to hit even more. However, it is just too much damage to ignore. So now we have basically created a slot machine warrior. Either we miss every swing and look completely incompetent, or we land one hit and instantly erase some poor bastard from existence. I decided to give the tavern sign to Ogden the tavern owner instead of Snotspill cause, while I won't use the Harlequin crest he gives me as a thank you. I just wanted to make it clear to the game that I am racist to demons and will always pick humans over them. With that all taken care of, our switch from a two-handed axe to a one-handed sword has left us with a negative mana pool and yet another empty gear slot, so it's time to go looking for a shield, and a ring, and an amulet. There might be something in level 5, so after doing my favorite thing in the entire game a few more times, I decide to go there. Which turned out to be easier said than done. Snotspill has heard about how I gave the tavern sign back to Ogden, and now him and his friends are slightly miffed about it and attack me. They however do not know the disaster of a level 4 I just went through, and nothing makes me happier than to slaughter all of them right here and now as retribution for the Black Deaths that have personally ruined my life. Awfully kind of them to just walk into my sword one by one to make it easy to take care of them. And with them all gone, we are finally out of level 4, time for level 5. Level 5 shows us the next of our completely self-imposed problems. I'm still barely connecting attacks. The enemies don't seem to have that problem. Something the horned demons point out straight away. After this intervention, I decide to at least try and get something going. So I went to Griswold to ask him for some scraps. So while I'm not exactly happy with it, I now have a plain buckler. The next of our quest is to find a pile of gold disguised as Arcane's Valor. To find it, you read a book and put 2 bloodstones in the altar. They were probably hidden by the town drunk, cause the gems are on the left and right side of the block, all of 2 seconds away from the starting point of the quest. After placing the gems, a pathway opens where you, to the surprise of no one in particular, get ambushed by some more horned demons before finding Griswold's new armor. Celebrating yet another quest completed gets ruined when I open a door and encounter some old friends. As it turns out, the game had in fact found a way to make things worse. Level 5 has more of the max life stealing zombies raring to come straight at me. What's also here is goat archers, and they end up dropping a magic small shield. This turns out to be the game's way of reminding us that we can't have nice things. At first I was happy to see that the shield has 5 to all stats. That is until I looked at it a bit closer and saw that it was not netting me 5, but draining me for 5 of all my stats, effectively leveling me down 4 levels by equipping it. Thanks game. I hate it. The final quest we are looking for on level 5 is the magic rock. I'm just clearing everything anyway, so it was just a matter of time before I found it. Griswold gives you the Empyrean band as your trophy. However, it is still banned per the rules, so I just give it right back to him. At a price of course. It's only fair. Speaking about only fair, I figured that with a ton of level ups and new gear, I would be able to give King Leoric a fair fight this time around, so I trekked up back to his tomb. Despite all of my extra power, the battle with the Skeleton King ended up being a grind fest. His health is regenerating at the speed of light, which is ironic, cause he desperately doesn't want light in his tomb. The Skeleton King tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it didn't even matter. He dropped his, now mine, crown. The undead crown, which has lifesteal and would be a perfect addition to my gear setup, allowing the massive amounts of damage I deal to heal me, but it's a quest reward. So all I can say is that Griswold is looking mighty strong right about now, with his 2 rings, amulet, armor and life recovery helm that I would have all loved to wear. A bit deeper into the tomb, I finally find an amulet from a skeleton. I don't have an identifying scroll, so I can't see what it does, but I can still wear it. I just won't know what is happening yet. Back in town, I find out from Deckard Cain that the amulet gives me 40% light radius. One of the strongest things you can do with a melee character is remove all your light radius, so the monsters don't run away from you when they see you. So this is just an actively bad amulet. It felt so good to have all my gear slots filled, but figuring it has all down and no upsides, I take it off again. One of these days I will have a full set of gear, but today is not that day. Level 6 starts off strong with a shrine that gives me 2 strength for free, which definitely isn't crazy strong or anything. Thank you old game balancing, may I have another? Turns out that yes, I may indeed have another. That is 2 of them in the same level, almost gaining me a full level worth of stats at the price of clicking on a shrine twice. Just the purest of cinema. I'll also gladly take the free one to my maximum damage. I don't know what you're apologizing for game, but apology accepted. Our next quest is in the Chamber of Bone, an aptly named area where you fight a giant horde of skeletons that charge at you looking all menacing, only to immediately realize they also won't be the ones fixing the barbarian violently swinging a sword through a doorway. The quest itself is completed easily enough. You read a book and that's it. You're done. As a reward, you learn the Guardian spell, which would summon 3 very cute hydras that shoot fireballs, but at minus 15 mana in my pool at all times. I'm going to have a hard time summoning them. Level 7 starts out with chasing archers and almost dying because of it, reminding us that surviving is still more of a suggestion than a certainty. Hitting things is getting troublesome as well. Not gonna lie dear viewer, right now things are looking bad and we are going to be in a lot of trouble if things don't improve fast. which they didn't. Our next quest is to find the optic amulet, which is in a suspiciously unguarded part of the level. Surely this is not a trap. The moment I walk in, I get attacked by illusion weavers, who promptly put me into block stun and make me do the deed of being dead. Figuring this was an anomaly, cause how could my basically blind, no health barbarian lose a fight after all? I stood in the door like my lovely commenters told me to do and easily survived my first encounter with the invisible attackers. The totally unsuspected trap continued on with the illusion weavers blocking the door, surrounding me and sending me right back to the loading screen while they were at it. Thankfully, that only happened once. Surely nobody would be a big enough buffoon to let that happen twice. And can you even imagine the special kind of stupid you need for it to happen 3 times? Neither can I, so I pick up the optic amulet, completing the quest. Just like the others, I won't be using it, which doesn't feel extra bad with the empty inventory slot at all. The eagle-eyed viewer, however, will notice that there is another amulet in my inventory, cause I found another one along the way. It isn't all bad either. 15 strength and some fire resist is pretty decent, so it brings me joy to tell you that we finally filled up all our gear slots. Only took half the game. And we won't mention the quality of the items we are wearing. Most of them are still pretty bad, but that's what the other half of the game is for. Level 8 has all of the best intentions executed poorly. It worries about your health, so it makes you do cardio. And when you're done, it rewards you with a shrine that grants you 2 vitality, improving your life by 4. After taking care of you, the level wants you to take care of Zar the Mad. This boss is very confusing the first time you fight him, but after a few runs I've been told that you can just make him teleport into a corner and kill him, which is exactly what I did. Completing yet another quest. Just a bit later I encountered an aptly named goat shrine. It ended up giving me 2 vitality. The shrines just keep coming. Next up I found a hidden shrine. What this shrine is going to do is move 10 durability from a random item to another random item. So one item loses 10 and the other gains 10. What we want to happen is that Bonesaw gains 10 durability and our random magic cape loses 10. However, we lose the dice roll and our Bonesaw ends up with 26. This is solved easily enough thanks to the ancient power of cheating responsibly, so I load my game back in again and decide to click on the shrine with all my gear equipped for shits and giggles to see if we get lucky. On our second attempt we did get lucky. It took the 10 from our helm and put it onto our sword, which while not as good as sacrificing the durability of some random garbage robe, is still completely fine. This helm isn't anywhere near endgame gear anyway. Level 10 gets us on our way with the next quest, which has us looking for a mushroom after giving the fungal tome to Adria. It had been a while since my screen had turned the all familiar sad, dead and red, but while searching for the mushroom I got attacked by a boss group of red storms. They surrounded me so hard my character legally became furniture, and pounded me to my death shortly after. While they had called Jigi no Ri, I definitely wanted that rematch, so the second time around I decided to at least try and play well, luring them into a couple of doorways and low rune and behold. Playing well has you winning instead of losing. Who could have imagined that? After switching into some clean clothes, I end up finding the mushrooms Adria was looking for. The best part about these is the sound they make. Whoa, whoa, whoa. When you bring her the big black mushroom, which definitely isn't a euphemism. She tells you that Pepin the healer is looking for some demon brain. Not gonna lie, this town is getting weirder and weirder by the minute, but I'm no kink shamer, so into level 10 I go, looking for some brain. I encounter some horny demons, but they seem to have misunderstood why I was here. I told them I was looking for demon brain for my friend back in town. What I got, however, was violent bloody death by impalement, which is almost the same, except for the violent impalement and dying part. Having spawned back in, I decide that I'm gonna go right instead. I've heard to the left is a silly place. Straight away I encountered a single demon, killed him and got the brain. My inventory is nowhere near full yet though, so I decided that I could just venture on for now before handing in my quest items. Level 10 is full of slayers and their fire attacks make it rain my blood. My appointment with Malthael, Sanctuary's Angel of Death, is in a few videos, so for now I make my escape after having my life total get dangerously low, dangerously fast. At this point of the run, we are having trouble hitting things, and are having trouble surviving things, so we're basically just a heavily armed disappointment right now, and it is starting to show. Back in town, Pepin gives the spectral elixir, makes me pick it up from the ground like a filthy peasant as well. Thanks for nothing I suppose. Anyway, I switched my gear around a bit to get some more resistances, which is something you tend to do a lot in this game. You basically switch your gear around depending on what you need for the current level until you hit the truly endgame stuff, which we will. Don't worry, I promised you a broken build and we'll get there. By the end of this run, we're going to become an extinction event. For now though, we still have quite a lot of work ahead of us. Before we get to it, I have an admission to make. When you go back to Adria, she tells you can drink the potion instead cause she doesn't need it anymore, which I blindly did, didn't even think twice about it. The elixir gives you +3 to all your stats, or about 2.5 levels worth of stats, which is just insane. And that's the problem, I didn't realize it at the time, but it's a quest item, meaning it's banned and I shouldn't have used it, which is a roundabout way of saying that I failed the challenge. With that out in the open, let's continue on. Level 10 has another quest as well. The Anvil of Fury is located on a secluded part in the middle of the map. It's a good thing we have all that strength, cause apparently the villagers think it's completely fine to ask someone to carry up an anvil back to town. That's kind of all there is to this quest though. Click the anvil, get distracted by a quick game of inventory Tetris and bring it back up to Griswold. Reward wise, you get Griswold's Edge, a unique sword that's both powerful and banned for being a quest item. If you want to see it in all its beautiful glory, you should check out my warrior playthrough video. I have been going through every level, so I feel like I should mention level 11. There's no quests or story beats here, it's just kind of there. Not much going on except for the usual suffering to remind you that you built your character wrong and should try Hello Kitty games instead of these dark and evil games that are harder than you'd think. It's the same on level 12, no quests, just the most terrible game of dodgeball ever seen by mankind. So we are going to just get out of there and move onwards towards level 13. The final parts of the game have you traversing darkness and lava filled areas filled with a new enemy. Steel Lords will come up to fight you like a warrior. The problem however is though that it takes 10 hits to kill them, which isn't a big deal in a 1v1. They are pack animals though, ambushing their unsuspecting prey and trapping them in a corner until the screen of sadness shows up again. This is where it all started to fall apart. Our hero is just not hitting things often enough to defeat them. We have been needing upgrades to our gear for a very long time, clearing out every single nook and cranny of every floor looking for anything to get the momentum going. But the game just said no thanks, I'd rather just have you be miserable. At this point I considered starting a new game with this character, which would allow me to start back in Tristram and has me working my way through all the levels again. This allows you to keep your gear and your experience, so it's nothing but upside. But if there is one thing I can do well, it is persevering through misery, and I'd rather be miserable for hours than give up and be happy. I figured that as long as I can kill a single enemy, I can kill them all. So I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and got back to work. Knowing I would lose to the group of Steel Lords to the east, I decided to head north instead, where I found an armor rack that finally gave the long-awaited upgrade we had been craving for so long. In Diablo 1 there is one universal truth: eventually every build becomes a full plate build. The price of wearing them is a huge stat investment in strength, but that's perfect for us, cause that's all we've been doing this entire run. What makes this armor so strong is the armor class. Even the quest items like the Arcane's Valor we found back in level 5, which is easily able to carry you through the game, only has 25. This has 3 times that at 75. That on its own is just enough to let us tank through the entire game, meaning the first of our problems is finally solved. No matter what the game throws at us from here on out, we are going to be able to take a few punches and will at least get to fight back. Now if only we had some good chance to hit. Between the new armor and the ability to kite and loop, I was able to whittle down the forces of hell one at a time and work my way through. Guarding the exit is the Warlord of Blood. As their commander and warlord, he is a stronger version of a Steel Lord. At this point I've fought what feels like a couple million of these guys, so one more is no problem. Upon his death we gain access to level 14 and check off another quest, just 3 more to go. Before heading into level 14, there is a bunch of stuff to loot. The entrance is surrounded by item racks, and I think at this point the game had seen what I was willing to go through and just gave up. From these racks I ended up getting a stupidly good armor, a Jade Blade of Giants. It has the 75 armor class that the full plate mail had, but it's also sporting a casual 27% resist all, and if all of that wasn't quite good enough, it also has 16 strength for some extra damage, adding even more tankiness to the already almost unkillable barbarian. That still doesn't solve my aiming problem, but this meteoric flail of precision sure does the trick. 76% chance to hit and 20 dexterity combined to get us from 105 to 191% chance to hit. So how good is basically doubling our chance exactly? Well, step aside Bale, there is a new Lord of Destruction in town. Level 14 has nothing that even stands a chance to give me a real fight, so all I need to do here is talk to Lagdanan, who tells us that he dropped his elixir on level 15 and wants us to go and get it. Level 15 is filled with Balrogs, which are angrier versions of the Slayers that gave us so much trouble earlier on. This time around, however, they don't even stand a chance. Working our way through the level, we end up finding the golden elixir Lagdanan asked for and the other quest item that's here as well, the Staff of Lazarus. With every single quest item in the game found, it's about time to start wrapping things up. The first thing I decided to do was to clear out the area. I don't think I really needed to, but after spending the whole run being weak, I was more than willing to repay the favor. The game did try to buy my goodwill by dropping a unique ring. It turned out to be the constricting ring, which gives 75 resist all at the cost of 1 life per second. If you're wondering if that's good, why yes it is. Between having my resistances at max, great chance to hit and being a huge defensive wall, Lazarus and his succubi don't stand a chance. The Archbishop tries to delay the inevitable, but to no avail. Just a few swings and down he goes. Figuring this is my world now, I tried drinking Lagdanan's potion in front of him to spite him, but the game won't let me, so I end up giving it to him. As a thanks, he gives me the Veil of Steel, a crazy powerful helm that I would love to use, but sharing is caring, so I donate it to Griswold instead. Having wrapped up all the optional and non-optional quests, there is only one thing left to do, defeating the Dark Lord. Level 16 is the final area of the game and well, it's not offering much of a fight, everything is getting one shot. To drive the point home even more, the game even gives me the Hellslayer as a trophy. The damage on this is bonkers, but it costs us too much chance to hit to be usable, which is a shame. It would have been such an epic finish to the run. To get to the final fight, you need to press the switches that you encounter among the corpses. Having flipped all of them, you free the Lord of Terror. After everything the game put me through, Diablo himself barely puts up a fight. What is a demon to the new Lord of Destruction after all? So we let Diablo walk up to us with a few of his friends, delete them in front of him just to establish dominance, then finally start swinging at the demon himself, putting him into stun lock, and enjoy our win. With that, the Dark Lord has been defeated and Tristram is saved. Along the way, we also became the new Lord of Destruction, committed industrial scale violence against the forces of hell and discovered that yes, you absolutely can beat Diablo 1 by putting every single stat point into strength. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.